Hello and welcome back to the latest episode of the Ruler 2 here on the C Cinema Review channel. And if you don't know, this is a Star Wars show. And with me, as always, is Misa Sista.
That's right.
Alright, and I'm very sorry that we haven't had an episode for a while. We did go on that vacation. So we will be talking today about Star Wars Galaxy's Edge that is open to the public in Disneyland. And yeah, we'll be talking about that and a couple of comics since there hasn't been too much news other than The Mandalorian getting a second season. But the comics, we got Star Wars episode 68. I know we haven't been doing the main Star Wars run here on the Rule of Two, but they are starting a new arc, and so I figured might as well jump into it. And then we're also doing Galaxy's Edge number 3. And so yeah, we got a bit of a theme going on here. But anyway, yeah, we had a good time on our vacation. It was fun, and
Glad to be back.
glad to be back. Let's talk some Star Wars. So, what would you like to do first?
Well, let's just get of the comics.
I have anything. You pick the topic today.
Let's get the Mandalorian
The
stuff.
Mandalorian. So, Mandalorian will be at D23 Expo, obviously. Hopefully we get a trailer there. I guaranteed it at Star Wars Celebration, but didn't happen. So it's going there, and Jon Favreau did announce that he is already in the process of writing season 2. So The Mandalorian lives. Spoilers.
He went on Jimmy Kimmel and
For Lion King, probably.
and said that about he's excited about he's writing the second season or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Sounds
cool.
good. Sounds fun. They're obviously
Happy with their first season.
happy with it. They're happy with it and they're confident in it. I would be too. Seems like everything around this just looks and feels great. But that's pretty much it. Yeah, we're gonna get a second season of Mandalorian. So hopefully the Mandalorian does drop in November when the Disney Plus thing does go up. That would be great if it dropped day 1, because then you would have a big time thing to get everybody to buy into it day 1. I'm sure they're smart and they know this, but I'm just letting you know. I'm letting you know, JJ. I'm letting you know, Shmi. But anyway, yeah, that happened, and I guess let's talk about let's save Galaxy's Edge for the end. So we'll talk about the new Star Wars number 68. It's a new arc. This one's called Rebels and Rogues. And in this one we kind of see our big 3, and it's got to be honest, it was very nostalgic for me because I haven't been reading this series or the Star Wars main line of comics. It was very nostalgic for me to get our main guys from the original trilogy. It was just super awesome to get them all together, and when they're young and they're out doing adventures and stuff like that. I thought it was great.
Yeah, I dropped off a while back. But it's always cool to see the big 3 together.
Yes,
Plus Chewie.
Chewie and C-3PO's in here.
R2.
R2, yeah. But what do you think about this new arc? So basically we have them all splitting up, which,
Spoilers.
Spoilers. Yeah, we have them all splitting up. So it starts off kind of like episode 5 with the Empire sending out a whole bunch of probes. And in this one of these generals, I don't think they mention his name.
Yeah, it's Renko or something. Han says it, I'm not sure.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Anyway, so what the rebellion wants to do is kind of distract the Empire because they feel like the Empire's sending out thousands of drones, droids.
This is right after episode 4.
Yeah, so there's the Empire sending around thousands of probe droids, and the rebels kind of want to distract them and throw them off the scent. So the general basically gives them 3 different missions. Luke is out to distract them from a place. Han and Leia are out to kind of distract them, but also maybe frame some crime lords. And then Chewie is sent on a mission with C-3PO to go to this planet that is very unstable, and so unstable that a few charges will cause the planet to explode. And so the plan there is to lure some Star Destroyers to that planet and then blow up the planet. So, you know, classic Star Wars stuff. Always cool. I think it's not bad. I think it's not bad.
It's definitely a starting point for them.
I think they know how to write Han.
Yeah.
I think they do. I mean, from everything I like when they're talking about they need a good pilot. Luke's like, well, you know, Leia says, sounds like you. And then Han chimes in, actually, if you want the best pilot, you know.
He says the same thing about
a mechanic. Yeah. The general says that Chewie's one of the best mechanic. And then he's like, actually.
Yeah.
So I think they really understand Han. And it's really nice to see young Han doing his thing.
Yeah, there's a lot of under the breath, like, psh.
Yeah.
Like, they do that a lot, which I was kind of getting annoyed by.
And I like it because the general sends Han and Leia off on their mission together, and they both are like, oh no, and then you just see Luke in the background going, oh boy. Because he knows there's some tension there, you know. I think it's great. They even draw Han. This is hashtag my Han, you know. They draw Han like Harrison Ford. I think it was really smart to send C-3PO along with Chewie, just so that we can get that translation, you know? I think it's fun.
None of the stories get resolved.
Yeah.
But it's definitely a cool starting point.
Yes, it's a really cool starting point. You see Luke back on a desert planet with his poncho and everything.
Good imagery.
Han goes full The Matrix. With his outfit, got a big old trench coat and sunglasses.
Sunglasses. I don't know how I feel about Star Wars sunglasses. But they definitely...
Leia's visor is okay, but the Han is literally wearing a trench coat and sunglasses.
Yeah.
Looking and gloves. It's like, wow. I didn't mind it. I was just like, okay, I get it.
Yeah, the art is good as always. We should probably give them a shout out who did the art for this.
Yes. Greg Pak, who has been on, I think he's been on this, and I think he's been on something else too.
That's the writer. Greg Pak is the writer. The artist is Phil Noto. So
yeah, the cover artist Phil Noto as well. Cover art looks pretty cool. There's kind of a twist at the end where the planet that Chewie was gonna blow up was apparently uninhabited. And C-3PO even brings along his little device that checks for life and stuff like that. But there are these rock monsters who are rock people, sorry, you know, rock life matter too, right? There are these rock people who are, they just, the sensor doesn't pick them up.
Yeah, they're living there.
Chewie and C-3PO kind of had this dilemma where it's like, wow, we're sent here to blow up this planet, and these people are living on this planet, and it seems like these people are not technologically advanced to get off planet.
Right. But of course, they're not going to want to blow them up.
Yeah, you don't want to just kill these people.
We also have Leia's little twist. Leia and Han's little twist is that they get saved by her boyfriend.
Her boyfriend, yeah. So there was apparently like some legislator guy or some guy in politics that she knew a long time ago, Dar Champion, who, you know, comes and kind of saves them from the local like police, but they're they're crooked police and everything like that. Saves them, and then Leia has this thing. She mentions the Han's wife. And Han's like, she wasn't my wife, and you know it. What was her? Sana. Yeah, Sana wasn't my wife. And then you see the guy who saves them, and she just says, then Dar Champion is not my boyfriend, you know? And then you just have Han with his little, like, what?
Yeah. Facial expression.
Yeah, so I like it. They're calling back to some stuff. that they have done previously.
And Luke ends up, I guess, going into a bar.
Yeah, that's the little preview for the next issue. The tagline is a Jedi walks into a bar. It looks like a cantina, but he walks in with his poncho and his lightsaber open or out.
Yeah. So, I mean, it looks pretty cool. And
I like the I like the start of the story.
yeah, I'm definitely hooked, and I would recommend it. It's a nice little start to the story.
Yeah.
And the art is good, the writing is pretty good, and yeah, can't wait to see where it goes.
Yeah, and I think it's cool. So, like, if you guys haven't been reading it, you can start on this one, and it'll be a brand new arc. So you're not just jumping into a story
Right. This is
that you haven't been reading.
issue 68.
Issue number 68, all new arc. I think it's a nice start. It gave me all the feels of having the OGs. I hope they get back together again and just like go on adventures together, obviously, because that's what we love. But yeah, it's a nice start to this new arc. I think it was pretty cool. Definitely check it out.
Mm-hmm.
Let's move on to Galaxy's Edge, number 3. This one introduces Hondo Onaka as being on the planet of Batuu, and
I will say that I have not been 100% on this series.
Yeah.
Because I don't enjoy the story format where you're not
Seems
getting
like,
it real time. You're getting somebody telling a story about back in the day.
Each issue there has been someone who's telling a story about, the good old days or whatever, or how Doc Ondar got something.
Exactly,
that's in his shop.
Having been to Black Spire Outpost, it's a whole different thing when you're flipping through the pages and you've been there and you can say, "Oh my word, I was there."
There's a big two-page part in this. I don't know what you would call it. There's a big 2-page art, a big picture where it's Olga's Cantina. And it looks exactly like it looks when you go to Disneyland, go to Galaxy's Edge, and walk in there. Obviously, they don't have all the creatures and stuff in there. They do have the DJ, though. He's right there. You can see it. We literally, I could see in the comic book the booth that I sat, that we sat at. It was great. I was there. I had a drink there. I had some snacks there.
But even everything else just feels so much like it did when we were there.
Definitely.
The way they do
there's just
the art, the walls and everything,
stormtroopers around.
It, and it just looks like
stormtroopers are around. And then we have this story that Hondo.
So when I read it, there's more of a connection there than I had before.
You even see the blue milk station where you go up there and you buy your blue or green milk in Galaxy's Edge. You see that station here. It looks the same, it has it really does a lot when you go to Disneyland and go to Galaxy's Edge and then read this comic. They definitely collaborated on how things would look and everything like that. It's really well done.
Yeah, it's super cool. And so when you come and read the stories afterward, it feels
more personal.
Yeah,
you have a connection, more of a connection to the place.
Yeah. So do you want to?
Yeah. So it's basically it starts off with the shapeshifter on the run. He eludes the First Order stormtroopers, and then Doc Ondar kind of has one of his muscle guys get to him, and then we kind of cut away, which I was like, wait, how's that gonna work out? But I guess that'll come in later. And then we have the cantina, and so it's basically the guys who are trying to steal from Doc Ondar, that little crew. They are trying to get a pilot, which of course you get Hondo Onaka, who is a businessman. He calls himself pirate sometimes, but they need a pilot, and so they're pretty much asking him, so why should we pick you as our pilot? And so he goes into his story about how he helped Doc Ondar one time.
Well, before we find out that he's in cahoots with Doc Ondar.
Yeah.
He's spying for Doc Ondar.
He's doing a little bit of spying for Doc Ondar. So he goes into the story, though, about... So it's the Guardians of the Wills back on Jeddah. It's really cool. It's so you got Doc Ondar actually going out and procuring something, which is new. Doc Ondar and Hondo, they're trying to get a little statue, but it's like a little statue made from kyber crystal from the Guardians of the Wills on Jeddah.
Carved with the lightsaber.
It looks great. It's like a Jedi fighting a dragon. It looks dragon snake, something like that, but it looks amazing.
And all the while, Doc is like explaining all of this, and Hondo and his men are fighting the Guardians of the Wills.
Which it's great continuity because you have the blaster that Chirrut Imwe uses. They all apparently have the staff / blaster. It's great. And then
it's cool, and they end up getting it. Somehow there's some sort of explosion, I guess. Yeah. And there's a lightsaber. I don't know where he gets that.
That's Ki-Adi-Mundi's lightsaber.
Oh, okay.
The one we saw from last issue.
They're running down the hall, but
trying to get away.
Who's at the end of the hall but
your man, Chirrut Imwe.
This was a great moment because there's nobody in the hallway. Boom, there's this dark figure in the hallway. And then you finally get the close-up of him, and he's got his eyes closed. And it was definitely one of those moments where I was like, okay, this is totally a vibe for me.
It was a nice fist pump moment for me, at least.
And he does his thing,
he does his thing. He's trying to keep them away. Hondo's, like, trying to fight him.
Well, trying to get back the kyber crystal statue.
Yeah, Hondo's trying to fight him. It's not going so well for Hondo, and then Doc kind of gives his sad story about him. Apparently, his parents owned one of these little statues, and they were killed, and apparently it was taken away from them. Or no, it was in a box that belonged to his parents, and it was delivered to Doc Ondar after their deaths. Which is, it's a tragic story, and so Doc was like, let me use this, and it's just another step to me finding out who murdered them. And so Chirrut, being the good guy that he is, Doc also explains that there are like 3,000 of these, 2,304 of these little statues, identical to this one, that are in all the tunnels, and so Chirrut's like, all right, take it, if it'll help you, find peace or something like that.
Right. There was some sort of exploration mission that killed his parents.
Yeah.
Regarding artifacts, I think.
Yeah.
And so they get in this really cool looking ship and fly away, basically.
Fly away, yeah. Evade some Imperials, which is cool. And then we get Doc is spying, or Hondo is spying on these people for Doc Ondar. And so he's basically, says, what do you guys... that's kind of a story of how I beat the Empire once, so I'm your man, so what am I going to take for you? Or what's the big thing we're after? And this lady shows him a picture of this sword. Which
we know is not the reason they're there. They're there for the Sith artifact.
Last issue was definitely a Sith box. I'm thinking... maybe that box was larger than we saw. Like, maybe it was larger and this sword is inside of it?
No, I definitely think this is a
coup?
Yes.
This is
just a switcheroo.
Yeah.
A bait and switch. They're going to be like, we're here for this. No, just kidding. We got this. Let's go.
Yeah.
But
there is kind of a... oh, sorry.
There's sad moment.
There's a little sad moment. So Hondo apparently has some backstory with Afra. What?
You didn't build enough. You didn't build it up enough.
What were you gonna say?
Well, I was gonna build up. We have two really good reveals in this, or sort of mentions in this comic book. And the first one is obviously Chirrut Imwe, but the second one is Dr. Afra.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently she was after the sword at one point. Basically did the same thing as this other crew is doing now, just telling him, let's go get this. And he let her down.
Yeah.
And left her behind.
Yep.
And yeah.
He feels remorse, which is
Yeah.
like, you're a pirate. Wait.
There's a really great panel in here where he's welling up.
Yeah.
Tears.
But he probably thinks that she's dead. Which, at this moment in time, she might be dead.
Yeah. Which I was thinking would be interesting for them to give her a death. And then...
I
And
mean,
then they could fill in all the space in between.
Yeah, her comic series is still going, I believe.
Yeah, like we've done with so many characters, you know. Darth Vader's dead, but yet he's still going on.
Yeah.
But he mentions that, you know, she conned Darth Vader and lived,
And
you
lived,
know.
so yeah. There's,
She's a pretty cool lady, so...
I know, it makes me want to go and read the Afra book, or the Afra stuff.
Well, I think it might start off in the Darth Vader comic run. Her con of him, and then...
Oh, yeah, it might, yeah.
So...
Never know.
Yeah, no, 2 really cool reveals in here.
Yeah,
and
it's a really nice comic. It's so much better. It's just an extra amount of cool when you have been to Galaxy's Edge and then read this comic book. Because you see things that you saw in your actual life and experience, and did things like go into the cantina, like get some blue milk at that station. So it's just,
right.
I think they did a really good job of, not only are they telling, in my opinion, a good story, kind of a good 5-part story with other stories in there about Doc and things like that, but they're also giving you extra things from Galaxy's Edge, from the planet of Batuu and Black Spire Outpost, that you just kind of, when you get it, you get it. You know, it's the extra things that the really hardcore fans like us and people who go to Galaxy's Edge and then read this book, I think you'll get an even greater appreciation and a greater connection to this book.
Yeah, this
series.
is definitely the first one that I'm going to recommend.
Oh, look at that. Wow.
Yeah, I think overall it's pretty good, even though I'm not a huge fan of the story method or the method of telling the story.
Ethan Sachs, story writer, I think he does a great job. Will Slinny does the art. I think they're doing really well.
Yeah, the art's always good in these, and
yeah,
the cover is definitely, you feel like you've seen all this stuff.
Yeah, the cover's nice.
So.
But anyway, yeah, let's move on. Let's talk about our experience at Galaxy's Edge. There's a lot that we could talk about, so we're not going to get into all of it today. We will just sum up, like Inigo Montoya says. It is one of the coolest experiences you could have if you are a Star Wars fan, and if you watch Rebels and Clone Wars, so you know who Hondo is. You get some great Hondo stuff there. The Millennium Falcon ride, Hondo is a big part of that ride, and so it was cool to see him pop up in this issue of the comic book.
Just 2 things that I wasn't a fan of.
Mm-hmm.
Number 1 being the popcorn. Don't buy the popcorn, it does not taste good.
Oh.
I didn't enjoy it anyway.
Yeah. So their popcorn has they put colors on it, and the colors have each color, I think it's red, purple, and
just red and purple.
Red and purple, and then your regular popcorn. The purple is okay. The red kind of tastes almost like it's like a watered down hot Cheeto powder.
Yeah, it's just not.
It's strange.
It's
we'll
not
put
worth
it that
the
way.
$7 or whatever.
Yeah,
it is. But the Ronto wraps.
The Ronto wraps are great.
Get that.
Get the Ronto wraps.
The other thing I didn't
They're jerky at the place where they sell the Ronto wraps. They sell turkey jerky. They sell spicy and sweet, and I think teriyaki is the other one. But I had the spicy one. Very good. Their drinks also very nice.
Cool.
Yeah.
The other thing that I wasn't a fan of is that just beware if you're really into where are we in the timeline, it's just not, some stuff is not going to make sense. what's his name?
Kylo Ren?
No, him.
Hondo?
Yes, Hondo. He's wearing clothes from, looks like the Clone Wars, but yet he's talking about
Oh, yeah.
Chewie
I
and
don't... Yeah, I mean, maybe.
Han. So things are a little bit
Maybe he dusted off the old duds.
jumbled up in that way. So just if you're really, whatever about that.
It's really cool, though.
It is cool. Just don't go in thinking that everything is about timeline
They
and
have
stuff.
2 life-size ships there. They have the Millennium Falcon, obviously. Actually, they have 3. So the Millennium Falcon, then they have one of the First Order ships, which Kylo Ren comes down and they kind of do like a skit thing with a couple stormtroopers and then an officer. I got a picture with the officer. And
There's like a rebel running around and they're looking for her.
Yeah, there's a resistance person. She's like dressed in bright orange, got like purple hair. It's really cool. The stormtroopers will come around and talk to you. Kylo Ren will come around and talk to people. I got talked to. I was wearing my rebel insignia hat. He was like, "Bro, what's wrong with you?"
Mm-hmm.
I
was wearing a Luke Skywalker, and he was like, "No, you're not allowed here." Luke Skywalker t-shirt. But yeah, it's a really good experience. The ride is really good.
So much fun.
Very interactive. I can't wait for the other one to come out.
So the way the ride works is there's 6 people going in at the same time. The 2 people in front are pilots. The right pilot controls going up and down and going into hyperspace. The left pilot controls going left and right and hitting your booster or hitting boost so that your ship goes faster. Then the second row is gunners. So there's a bunch of buttons on the wall. So you just tap all the buttons, especially the ones that light up green, and you'll shoot down the TIE pilots. And the third row is the engineers, and so if the pilots crash, the engineers got to press them buttons to fix the ship. It's really fun. I did the engineer and the pilot role. I didn't get to do the gunner role, but it was cool because the parents locked down the gunner roles, and we had some fun.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, it's a really good experience overall. I thought there would be a little more interaction with the people of Batuu, but
that's true. Yeah, there's not so many creatures. That's
right.
One of the problems. The 2 main things that are quote unquote creatures are Hondo Ohnaka. He is actually animatronic, and so is Doc Onder. In his shop, they're both animatronic, but the way they move around, it's so very fluid. It's so very smooth. It looks very nice.
You basically get to interact with Kylo Ren, 2 stormtroopers,
Imperial First Order officer.
Yes, and Chewie.
Chewie walks around.
There is a Rey running around, but I don't think you're supposed to talk to her.
Yeah, I don't think she was allowed to really talk to people. There was the Resistance spy who was running around. She would kind of, play with the kids, saying like, "Hey, we got to come over here and we got to hide from the First Order."
Right.
So the First Order, at least when we were there, the First Order never caught the spy. Even though I pointed them towards the spy. I did point them towards the spy once. They didn't catch her. Yeah, oh well.
there are a lot of, I guess, Disney employees walking around and they're dressed in the Star Wars clothes,
which is great.
But they don't act super like they're in Star Wars, I guess, because I mean, I passed a couple of them and they were just talking about their bus ride or whatever, and it was like, oh, okay, so you guys aren't.
Yeah, definitely.
They're not strictly. Yeah. But if you do come up to them,
they'll talk to you about things. They'll say things like off world. They'll say, yeah, may the spire when you leave, they have their own vernacular. They'll say, may the spires keep you. I said that a few times.
Yeah, they have different words for receipt and drink and just different things.
They'll say credits instead of dollars.
So if you buy stuff, they will say certain things that are just more authentic to the world.
Yes.
But if they're just walking around, they're not necessarily going to, unless you come up to them.
Right.
But it is a really cool atmosphere, and everything around just looks so cool.
Yeah.
We also had Well, I had ribs one day
Uh-huh.
at Docking Bay 7, was it?
Yes, Docking Bay 7.
And you had some sort of chicken.
I had a nice chicken with some rice and then some curry sauce in there. It's really, really good.
I had like a raspberry cake or something. And it all just looks very
It's so
Star Wars.
great. Their plates, they're not giving you a plate. They're giving you like a cool little bowl thing that doesn't look like it's from Earth. I gotta admit, with the details, I feel like they did great. I do feel like they, like I said before, they could be, they have a lot of ideas that I think would be amazing, but maybe not everybody would enjoy them, like sabacc games going, like things like that,
Right.
Um,
The food was definitely
the food was great.
good. It's a go on the blue milk. It's good.
Blue milk is great.
That was basically the only thing I cared about when going there,
Yeah.
and it turned out to be
It delivers.
what I wanted.
It definitely delivers. It tastes good. It's refreshing. It's not, it's really good.
They also have what I believe is a larger version in the Oga's Cantina.
Olga's Cantina.
But that one's just called Bantha Milk, and
Yeah.
but it's basically the same thing. Also, that Oga's Cantina, really good experience.
Really great experience. So it is a timed experience. You do have 45 minutes, and so you get a booth or stand up. It's up to you.
At the bar.
You do have to make reservations, which was kind of unfortunate, but I get it a lot. It would be way too crowded if you didn't. But it's great because if you don't have to stay at your booth, you could walk around, you could take pictures. The DJ is there. It really is an amazing experience to go. I would say if you can go. It's so much fun. And you do get... The great thing is it's not separate. Or one of the great things, and it could be, something that could hurt them in the future, is that it is connected with Disneyland. So maybe if they wanted to expand, they wouldn't have as much area to expand if it was its own separate thing. But and to me, that's a really good thing, is that like you're not just going to Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, but you also get the rest of Disneyland with your thing. And that's really fun because you have things like Hyperspace Mountain at Disneyland. You have what used to be Tomorrowland now is called Star Wars Launch, I believe. Launchpad.
Something like that.
Yeah, where we did get to have like a little meet and greet with Darth Vader. We got to do Chewbacca, and we got to do Boba Fett. Which, to be honest with you, Vader was like he would have been my favorite if Boba Fett wasn't like... If Boba Fett... his lines, so each of them have like lines, right? Chewie is obviously not lines, but like Vader has lines that he says, that are obviously they're from the movies and stuff like that. But Boba Fett has some amazing lines. To me, we held like a good conversation where he was just like putting me on blast for being wanted and letting me leave with my head, and it worked so perfectly that I was like, yeah, that was a great experience.
Yeah, I'm not usually into the meet and greets, but they were a cool experience.
Definitely.
I will say all of the in-universe stuff, in Black Spire Outpost, all of the stuff you can buy there is really in-universe.
Yeah, it's great.
They
have costumes.
They do have some like shirts that are like the Falcon, but everything says like Black Spire Outpost. They will never, well, I don't know if they will never, but all of the stuff that I saw never said like Galaxy's Edge, Star Wars.
Yeah,
it was all like, this is Black Spire Outpost.
It's definitely...
Everything we're selling here is... The clothes are authentic.
The stuffed animals, the toys. They had the great little Kowakian monkey lizards.
Yeah.
Dude, those things, they had like a little controller that like would go... It was on a wire and it went down to your back. So you could have like your hands behind your back and you could have the monkey on your shoulder and it would actually... You could move it around and make it, look around and just feel like it's really real. And it's just... It's super smart to do things like that.
The packaging for the animals you bought there, as well as the droids.
Yeah, little cardboard boxes, but they looked like they were...
Cages for the animals.
Yeah.
And just like cargo boxes
for...
a
container.
The droids. the other things you bought it and it was just in a Disneyland
Yeah,
bag.
which
But
I was like, ah.
for like those two categories, they had really good things to keep it in universe.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so I think they did a really good job as far as, you know, the whole feeling of it, the atmosphere of it. You felt like you were there.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
we did not get to do the build your own lightsaber thing. It just wasn't in the budget, you guys. I'm sorry, but it just wasn't in the budget. We didn't do that or build your own droid. I did get a lightsaber. I did get the Jedi Temple Guard lightsaber, which it looks great. It feels, it's heavy. It lights up, does all the sound. It's amazing. That was in the budget. Also, I got a holocron, a Sith holocron, because ain't nobody want a Jedi holocron. I got a Sith holocron. It's great. It has, so when you turn it on, it glows and it has lines from, actually, it's from the Clone Wars, and it's Bane. It's Darth Bane from the Clone Wars, and it's lines from him that were in canon. I did get a yellow kyber crystal as well, and the holocrons, both the Jedi and the Sith holocrons, have spots in them where you could put the kyber crystal into the holocron and it would change the lines that the holocron said. So when I put the yellow holocron into or the yellow kyber crystal into my holocron, I would get Sheev Palpatine talking to me through the holocron. It is so well done. I think it's so smart. Oh man, I'm very happy with what I did buy. There's a lot of stuff that I would have bought if I had an infinite amount of money. One of the coolest things that I saw was they had a Bluetooth communicator. So the one that C-3PO has in episode 4 when when they're in the Death Star and he's trying to get them out of the trash compactor, you can get one of those. It will sync up to your phone and you could answer phone calls with a communicator. If that was in the budget, I would have gotten it, because I would have been so happy to use that for every phone call in the history of the rest of my life.
Yeah, I mean, everything, it's so in universe.
Yes.
It's just so cool to be there and to like be able to buy stuff like that. You can buy Thrawn stuff.
You can buy Thrawn's like insignia.
Yeah,
it's great.
You can buy Leia buns. You can buy a Padme headpiece.
Of course, there's costumes there. Mm-hmm. Those were not in the budget either, guys.
You can buy, and this goes to Rebels, Hera's family statue. I forget what it's called.
Yeah,
but
the one that Thrawn takes from her.
So at moments, they go really deep into canon.
Yeah.
They also have statues of Jedi that you can buy, and it's not like anything particular, but it's just kind of cool to have those things.
Yeah, I think they had a Twi'lek one, and then like just a male Jedi.
Yeah, of course you can buy Jedi robes and shirts.
Shirts. You could buy Sheev's robe. You could buy Sheev's cane, which I thought was pretty cool. To be honest with you, I don't know how many people are gonna buy Sheev's cane. I feel like you could have done something else that people might buy more, but hey, you could buy Sheev's cane and Yoda's cane, which is like it's just nice to have, you know.
A lot of that stuff is in Doc Ondar's place.
Yes, Doc Ondar's shop is, other than the ride, it was my favorite place. It was my favorite thing to do. I'd stay in there and just look at everything that I wanted to buy.
Really cool pictures around his place. On the outside, they have some really cool statues out there.
Yeah, they have a Jedi, like, it looks like it was straight from Jeddah statue.
I mean, it's just super cool. They have, I forget where the Ronto wraps are sold, what that place is called. Do you remember?
No, it might be called like Ronto's Roasters or something like that.
But it's like out in the open, and they have basically Docking Bay 7 is the only like restaurant they have there. That's a pretty big place. Oga's Cantina, that's pretty big. The blue milk can only be bought at the blue milk like station. Yeah. And yeah, they have a store for the First Order.
Yeah.
Which has some pretty cool stuff.
Some costumes for the First Order, which is great.
Right. When you first come in, they have 2 ships. They have another 2 ships full size, and that's where Chewie comes out. He does this little act.
That's right. There were 4 or 5 full ships. There was one like the shuttle that's kind of up above. You can't really get too close to it, but there's a shuttle there. There's an A-wing, an X-wing, the shuttle, the Falcon, and then the Imperial or the First Order shuttle.
Right. Chewie does his little thing at the very beginning.
It's great.
And right near there is where the other ride is going to be at the beginning. And then you come in, there's some little like kiosk places with clothes. And then when you finally get into like the real thick of it, there's like bathrooms, obviously, but everything is in universe. You even go in the bathrooms.
The bathrooms look like they're from Star Wars.
Yeah, what are those things?
The air blowers for your hands.
Yeah, those look. I was like, how do I?
Yeah,
do
exactly. I thought it was a napkin dispenser at first, and it was just like no.
Yeah, so everything is so cool. They have like a little watering hole in the middle or whatever it is where everybody sits around, and then they just have shops around there where you can buy the animals and toys
and costumes,
shirts, and all the little magnets and stuff, and it's very cool. And then you go in and there's where you buy the Ronto wraps, which are really good, and stormtroopers come out, and it's all very immersive.
Yeah, definitely.
I would recommend it.
Yes, absolutely go there. We are running long, so I will say the one thing that I wish they did more was have some more people or some more creatures and aliens. I feel like you can do that. I know it does get hot in the suits. I definitely understand that. It would just be really cool.
Yeah.
That's the only thing though. Everything else to me was really cool. I'm waiting for the X-Wing ride. We need an X-Wing ride.
Well,
I feel like we need an X-Wing ride.
If you want that kind of feeling, you can just go to Hyperspace Mountain.
I wouldn't be able to control the X-Wing though.
Which the only bad thing about that, if you want out of universe Star Wars stuff, you have to go all the way to the other side of the park where Star Wars Launch or whatever it's called, Tomorrowland basically, where Tomorrowland is, and you can get Hyperspace Mountain and Star Tours, which are very empty nowadays. But
I was a spy for Star Tours,
yes,
the rebel spy.
And they have a big store, and that's out of universe stuff. They had these great shirts, I love you, I know.
Yeah.
And yeah, so you can still go over there. That's still going with Star Wars stuff. And they have meet and greets over there, too.
Yes.
So, I mean...
recommended. Definitely get out there.
Overall, it was an amazing
And
experience.
when I say it wasn't in the budget, it's not because I'm cheap. It's because I bought a lot of stuff. I just, you have to buy shirts. I had bought a hat. I bought a backpack. I had to buy stuff for other people. It's not in the budget because it's not like I was cheap. Disney did get much of my money.
Yes, I was more into the out of universe t-shirts where it actually would say Galaxy's Edge, Star Wars, and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And so
really fun though. Definitely check it out if you like Star Wars. I would say check out the comic book and then look in the background of things like that, because you'll see things that you saw when you go to Disneyland. It is really an amazing experience. I think they did a great job. As long as they,
it sounds like the world. They have stuff going the whole time.
You sometimes you'll just hear this with the big old speakers. You just hear sounds like the Millennium Falcon taking off and going.
Exactly.
It's great.
And you get to go and take a picture by the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah.
And it's huge.
It's huge. And that thing is gigantic.
A beautiful heap of junk, I'm telling you.
It's amazing.
Even they have, it's Disneyland, so at one point we were walking across the park to get to the other side, and they had a band playing, the Star Wars theme.
The Star Wars theme, you got Leia's. Oh man, it was great.
Yeah, it was
amazing. We got to stop before you guys probably clicked away anyway. But yeah, for those of you stuck around, JJ, George, Benioff and Weiss, Shmi.
Shmee.
We got to get the new head producer, executive producer of all things live action to listen to the show. I know she's busy, but hey, it's only 45 minutes. Anyway,
Can't wait for The Mandalorian.
Cannot wait for The
And episode
Mandalorian.
9.
And yes, we get those 2 in the span of a month.
And at some point, we're going to catch up on Resistance.
Okay. But yeah, thank you very much for watching and listening to this episode of The Rule of Two. Be sure to leave a comment down below on your thoughts. If you've been to Galaxy's Edge, tell us what was your favorite thing, what you bought. So yeah, tell us your thoughts in the comments section down below. Thank you very much for watching and listening, and may the Force be with you.
Always.